Guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back from a few days at the lake. And no, there isn't just one lake here in Canada. There's many lakes and resort areas that people go to in the summertime. Camping, RVing, super popular here, probably about the third week of May till the first week of October, about 15 weeks. As you might know, if you know Canada, we have some really cold ass winters, so people like to take advantage of the summers, and they are short. It goes quick. With anything that's good or fun or whatever, it goes by pretty fast. But yeah, enjoyed some sun and got some color into this large melon of mine. But sitting on my doorstep, or at least my neighbor put it in a safe spot for me, was a box set that I pre-ordered. Initially, I actually wasn't going to pre-order this box set, but I'm glad I did. And I'm going to tell you why I spent the money on this. And this is actually my first Black Sabbath box set. They have 4 other ones out, but this is Black Sabbath Live Evil Super Deluxe box set. And we're going to go through everything in here. I'm going to just give you my thoughts on it, why I'm happy I picked it up. I'll give you a little bit of background with me and Black Sabbath. First of all, I was late to the party with Black Sabbath. I'm not even going to pretend that I knew all of their music probably before 1983, to be honest with you. When I got into Dio and the Dio, solo band stuff, like Holy Diver, Last in Line, that's when I knew of Ronnie James Dio. And then, of course, yes, I know new songs like Iron Man and a few other ones, but never really got a solid foothold into Black Sabbath's catalog till about 1983. And then it was hit and miss for, quite a few years, but I did pick up some of it. But I've always been a huge fan of Ronnie James Dio and the the Ronnie James Dio Black Sabbath era. Had that one on CD. This is actually a 2008 reissue of a 1982 live album, which reminds me this is one of my all-time favorite live albums. I'm not massive on live albums, but I do have a good list of 10, which I will do in a video at some point. Show you my favorite, at least 10 live albums of all time would be pretty cool. So anyways, when this first was announced, I thought, why a super deluxe? Can't they just reissue the vinyl, which I would be more than happy with, of the remastered version of Live Evil? I'd take it on vinyl any day, like they reissued Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules in 2021, and I think overseas in 2022. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought, why spend the money? But I dug into this, so I'm gonna pop off the top. This just lifts off, and here is the cover, basically. Black inside, black on that side, and on each side it says Black Sabbath Live Evil Super Deluxe. So like I said, this is the 4th. They already put out Paranoid, Volume 4, Sabotage, and Technical Ecstasy, which actually I'm going to throw in there because I am going to do a Black Sabbath ranking video. I've said that before, but now I'm in a big Black Sabbath mood. I'm going to throw in their Technical Ecstasy. I think it's better than people give it credit for. Even what I gave it credit for, put it that way. So anyways, let's get into this box set. I don't want to be all over the place like I usually am sometimes, but here's the hype sticker. The Ultimate Black Sabbath Package for LP Live Evil Super Deluxe Edition, featuring original album newly remastered, which, like I said, I would have been fine with just buying that. And then, or also including the new 40th anniversary remix by Wynn Davis. Now, and by the way, this is not an unboxing. I've actually got a couple of days into this. Well, at least a full day and probably 3 full listens of all these albums. This was the selling point for sure. Not the selling point, but I'm glad I bought this. And that is that new 40th anniversary remix. Absolutely superb. The vocals are sharp. It almost makes this album feel a little less live, but not in a bad way. I don't want to say it's that touched up, but the vocals are great. The bottom end, the bass and drums are just phenomenal. It's almost, if you turned your back from your speakers, it almost felt like, it feels like you're at a show. You know, if you got the volume at a decent level and, you know, things in your room are kind of shaking a little bit. Fantastic. Anyways, do check out the remix. So this also includes the 1982 Mob Rules Tour Replica Concert Book, a 40-page book, which is fantastic. Lots of reading material there. Artwork and liner notes. 1982 Mob Rules Tour Replica color poster. So all that included, $119 plus tax Canadian. So whatever it is where you are. This is the sheet that is on the back of it, which I just threw. I always take these off if they're ticky-tacked inside and put them in the box. But this basically, besides the track listing, says just what I just said off the hype sticker. And we'll go through this. Here is, well, what do you want to see first? Well, let's see the vinyl. Let's do that first, because there's, and by the way, last video or that I showed the Sabbath box set, these box sets come pretty well packed, a box within a box. And when I first checked out the Amazon box that this came into, it was pretty banged up, and I was a little bit worried. But inside of it was this very well protected box with the label on it of what it is, and then you just rip it open and it is housed in here. Very sturdy, not a dent on this box. Very well packed, besides the outer box that was pretty much looks like somebody sat on the damn thing. But yeah, very well packed. When they don't just throw these box sets in a box and let them flop around, and if they do, somebody's missing and not doing their job for sure. So anyways, everything is in here, and we're just going to kind of tip this over. There is not one of those, you know, those little ribbons in there that you can lift up. So here is the it says newly remastered version. Now, from what I can gather, this is not as shiny as the original. If anybody has an original out there, just let us know. A little more matte, in between matte and, you know, half shiny, let's say. But there's the classic cover of that. So we got, where does it say here? This is recorded live in Seattle, San Antonio, and Dallas. Produced by Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler. So this set list is, I think it's split up. I think there's 14 songs. There's some classic Aussie era Black Sabbath on here, like NIB, Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Iron Man. They kind of end the show with Paranoid and Children of the Grave, and then just a kind of an outro of Fluff playing in the background. But you know, the real highlight for me is those Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. Those songs are just classics. I just love them. Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, and then we go the Mob Rules, fantastic on here. Heaven and Hell, the Sign of the Southern Cross, and then they go back into Heaven and Hell and finish that song off. But Gatefold opens up like that. Some pretty cool pictures. I was impressed originally when I picked up the reissues for Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. Just killer. Killer job on those polyline sleeves. So I'm just going to show you. So this is double vinyl on that. I'll just show you one because they are both the same. But nice touch that they did include the polyline sleeves, which is nice in my books. All the center rings are the same on all 8 sides. So, and that's how they labeled them. This is side 1, and then you go through to disc 2, side 3 and 4, and then to this new remix version, which Out of this box, I'm honestly going to tell you that this is the one I'm going to play the most so far. But I did a comparison of the two discs. Actually, I'm going to show you the back of this box here too. There's the back of the box, so you got your just very cool background there too, just from the back of the live album. Geezer, Ronnie, Tony, Vinny Appice on drums. I didn't even realize that Vinny was still in his 20s when this came out. At least that's what it says in here, so I'm going to definitely believe that. But sometimes when I don't know about you guys, sometimes when I am talking about metal and albums and bands I love, I just forget about age. People just seem ageless to me, and still do. You know, I know that I know I go all over the place once in a while, but you know what? Let's just talk about it. Nico McBrain just turned 71 years old. Still seems ageless to me, but anyways, here is what the remix album looks like. So they changed up the cover a bit and stuff, so that's pretty cool. A little more glossy. Same track listing. Now, the only thing, when I was doing that comparison, the song on what we call side 7 on this one, The Mob Rules, it starts off a little bit different. It is Ronnie kind of talking to the crowd, you know, thanking them, mentioning that this track came from the soundtrack of, what is it, Heavy Metal, I think it was. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought on that one. I just can't remember. But so that part is different to the start of that song, opposed to the remastered start to The Mob Rules. It's kind of missing that little bit of banter before, but regardless, check. And this is actually what's on that poster. I will show you the poster too, but gatefold just sounds, I don't know, just rich. A rich sound. I really enjoy this remix. Remixed without doing anything too crazy, put it that way. And here is just one of the vinyl, so side 5 on there, and the other 2 discs are exactly the same. You know, and then I got thinking too, is this like, this is, I don't know, to me it's just legendary stuff. It's this all happened before, you know, Holy Diver. It happened before The Last in Line. But yeah, great albums. I am a fan of the Ozzy era of Black Sabbath. Not as much as I am of the Dio era. I am a fan of the Tony Martin era of Black Sabbath. And hoping that box set comes out. The only thing I've heard so far that it was, I don't know, is it CD only? Let me know what you've heard in the comments, because I'm definitely interested. The Tony Martin era of Black Sabbath there's some fantastic albums. You know, I would even consider maybe picking up a deluxe edition of Born Again, another, you know, kind of one-off, but I love that. I still love that album too, with Ian Gillan on vocals. But here's that book that I said came, hardcover book. I don't know how many pages are in here, but I'll just show you a few, because it's just jam-packed. And I'm going to read you something out of here that I read that really, it made a lot of sense to me. And that was when, just a second, we'll flip over to. So that large poster is exactly this, but massive. So we might not unfold the whole thing, but pretty cool poster. And then they just have, let's see. Let's go to find that where they have the band members. Sorry if that's going to take a second to flip through. So I really wanted to read that part to you. Where is that now? But yeah, tons of reading material in this book. What was going on at the time, you know, the changes in the band. No, we're not going to be able to find that, or what? Okay. Just a second here. Maybe it's towards the back, actually. Yeah. Intermission music, but Well, I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to find that spot, but let's see. Should have paused it, eh? But oh, anyways, what I was reading up on was that when Dio came into the band, it really changed the whole complexity of the band, the direction, a more seriousness to the band, not taking anything away from the Ozzy era, because I mean, that some of those albums are just they're timeless classics too. So, but yeah, it's definitely brought more of a, I don't know, maybe, did I say professionalism already? If I didn't, that's kind of, you know how Ozzy, he was fucking nuts back then, and Dio was just more of a, had more of a seriousness to him, but all that. But great book. Go through this. There's just pages after pages of concert stuff. And actually, where was that on here? This last part, 2007. Dio, Iommi, Butler, Appice came out on tour as Heaven and Hell, 2007. Looks like the two supporting acts are Lamb of God and Iced Earth. I'm glad I got to see them on that tour, but the supporting acts were Megadeth and Down. Down actually didn't even play that gig. Phil was screwed up on drugs or something, but glad I got to see them. It's Black Sabbath, so it didn't matter if they were called Heaven or Hell, just probably for the legal reasons. I think probably Sharon had a grip on the name at the time. But anyways, also included in this is a booklet, a tour booklet from the Mob Rules, and that might be exactly, I bet you that's where I read. Yeah, it is. So that's why I am screwed up on that. I read this. Dio is undoubtedly the first real singer the band has had, and this is coming from someone who has always loved Ozzy. Believe me, he was not one of the main reasons I went to see the band. Believe me, he was one of the main reasons I went to see the band in the early days. But it's always been obvious that the group had needed someone as powerful as Dio to handle the vocal chores. And while the lunatic spirit of Oz remained firmly embedded as the legacy of Sabbath past, there is no doubt that Ronnie's presence has brought a new depth and color to the group's music. A true professional and front man in every sense of the word. I agree with all of that, and I agree with all the Ozzy stuff, because you don't want to take away from those early albums. They're, like I said, they're awesome. And don't forget about that Tony Martin era stuff, pretty cool too. So that's what that big poster looks like. If we fold it out, we're good on time. Let's fold this out a little bit more so you can see it. But yeah, there is that. So we'll keep that inside the box. Really glad I picked that up. I still haven't read all of this book. It's intense. It's probably 2 or 3 hours of reading material for me, for sure. I just do little bits at a time. Really enjoy that kind of stuff. And yeah, hoping they come out with a few more box sets like this. Let me know if you've picked this up. I've seen a few unboxings of both the vinyl and the CD versions. They look fantastic. The CD version looks very awesome too. And I don't know, I'm almost tempted to maybe get a couple of those older ones, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, stay heavy.